Hello everyone, my name is Alexander Thorns, but you can call me Sasha. And welcome to part 4 of my Mono Water type continuation Nuzlocke challenge. Side note, I am now aware this run is actually called the Genlocke, however I am not changing the name because I like it. In part 4 I am back at my home region of Kanto as the game of this next challenge is Pokémon Fire Red. Since I have already played through Kanto on part 1 I'm gonna add some rules, and these rules will apply to every remake I play. So to add to the rules I've been using this whole time, I'm banning every champion for use minus my oldest encounter, in this case that being Squirtle, my original starter. She is going to be the only champion joining me in this region because she's been here since the very beginning. And because I've already played through Kanto, I'm gonna say that I kept the good rod from my previous run and will be able to use it after the first gym. This will allow me to use Pokemon encounters sooner than I would have been able to. Because with the rules that can't have duplicates, which still applies here, I can't really catch anything until Celadon City, meaning this run will be a solo run until then, and that's just not that interesting to watch in my opinion. With that being said, the first track through the game is a solo run because after getting my new starter and immediately depositing in it, since there is only one Squirtle in my squad, and it is Baby Girl that I get out of the box and proceed to defeat every trainer in Viridian City, landing me at Pewter City, and without anything else to do, I challenge the first gym leader, Brock, the rock type specialist, that gets demolished by 2 water guns because water beats rock. Easy. With the first badge in my possession, I can backtrack into Vermilion City and use the good rod that I got from my last visit trip to Kanto and fish out a Poliwag. And yes, this is a viable encounter even though I already own a champion Poliwag. But this little tadpole has another final evolution that you guys will see if we get to it. Just keep in mind that this Poliwag will not be turned into a Poliwrath. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm actually excited for this run, since I get to use Pokemon that are usually later catches in the game, since you only get a Super Rod after the 4th gym. Alongside Poliwag, I can also go into Route 22 and fish a Goldeen, a Pokemon that I have to be honest, I don't think I ever used in a personal run. With the encounters taken care of, I need to make my way back to Pewter City and onto Mount Moon, where I get my first evolution as Baby Girl evolves into a Wartortle. I've seen this girl evolve so many times and I never get tired of it. At the end of Mount Moon, I get an item that I'll need for a future encounter, since both of the fossils that you can choose can revive into a part water type, and for this run I choose the Dome fossil. Then I arrive at Cerulean City, the location of the next gym challenge, but before I can face Misty, I need to take care of some side quests. First up is my rival battle. At the entrance of Nugget Bridge, he approaches me and we head into battle. He leads with a Pidgeotto and I go for Wartortle, immediately clicking Ice Beam, which leaves Pidgeotto in a red and frozen, leaving it open for a KO with a Mega Kick. Next in is Bulbasaur, my rival starter, and he takes an Ice Beam, leaving it at 20%, but only connects with a Poison Powder before falling to another Ice. Abra comes in after Bulbasaur, and it being so physically weak, one Mega Kick takes it down. To finish the battle, Rattata comes in and 2 Ice Beams deal with it, giving me the win. And to be fair, at this point my starter had defeated so many rivals, especially this one, and I'm not surprised that she can just solo him. Anyway, now I can go north of Cerulean City and get a new encounter, this one being an Horsey, that I will gladly use since I love this little seahorse. Now I need to free Bill from his eternal jail and I can finally challenge Mist, the water type expert. Well, according to her. I don't see her with 3 league titles and a 3-time champion Pokemon on her team, but that's just me. We head into battle and it's Staryu vs Wartortle to get things going. We trade off damaging moves, Wartortle going for a bite, dealing 50% damage, and Staryu using a water pulse that deals very little damage but confuses my turtle. So I switch in Golden to cleanse the confusion and Staryu goes for a recover, basically resetting the battle. Before I bring War Turtle back, I go for a Supersonic with Golden that connects after Staryu uses a Harden. Before I switch out, I decide to do some cheap damage with a Horn attack that deals a surprising amount of damage, even with Staryu at +1 defense, and the Starfish hurts himself in confusion, so I just finish it off with another Horn attack after it hurts itself in confusion again, so Golden actually put in the work this battle. Next is Misty's Ace Starmie, and I decide to stay in, fire a Supersonic that unfortunately misses, and Golden takes a Water Pulse for 35%. This round repeats as Golden gets down to 1/3 health remaining, so I switch Portal back in for it to take a critical hit Water Pulse and get confused again. Baby girl, this is not your battle. So I swap Poliwag in with the sole intention of putting this star to sleep with an Hypnosis, which luckily Poliwag connects after taking 2 Swifts and standing at 10 HP remaining. With Starmie now asleep, I can bring War Turtle back in for some revenge. The first bite connects and deals close to 50%, but it seems like a 3-hit KO and Starmie stays asleep. The next turn, Baby Girl lets out all of her anger and nails a crit bite, breaking the gem in Starmie's core for the win. That fight was a lot messier than I was expecting it, although few risks were taken, but I managed to get the second gem. Next, I make my way down south until I reach Vermilion City, where I can fish out a Krabby, another Pokemon I haven't used much. While in Vermilion City, I need to take care of the SSN side quest to acquire Cut before I can even think about facing the next gym. While inside the boat, I find my rival and we get into another battle, and like before it's Pidgeotto vs War Turtle, and this time a single Ice Beam defeats the bird. Ivysaur is next and I fire another Ice Beam, leaving it in the red and freezing it, giving me a free KO next turn with a bite. Raticate comes in and I swap for Poliwag, giving it some time to shine, with Raticate going for a tail whip on the switch. Then Poliwag connects with an Hypnosis, putting the red to sleep, and can start dealing some damage with Water Gun, dealing around 1/3 of damage with each use, but on the third turn Water Gun is just shy of the KO, prompting Raticate to wake up and furiously attack my Tidepole with an Hyper Fang that leaves Poliwag with 18 HP remaining. This is when I have a brain rot moment, because I decided to use Water Gun again, believing that Poliwag could outspeed the Fat Rat, but I completely forgot that it carries Quick Attack, which it uses and knocks down my Poliwag, giving me my first death of the run. Not off to a good start, that was completely my mistake all the way, and I get Golden in and finish Raticate with a Peck, leaving only Kadabra, which disables my Peck on the first turn, getting knocked out by a strong Horn attack. Now I can rub the Captain in exchange for the HM for Cut, which gives me access to the third gym where I need to face Lieutenant Surge and his electric types, a fight that I am not looking forward to. After depositing the Fallen and getting Krabby onto the team, I make my way into the gym, having Krabby defeat the trainers with Mudshot and finishing the puzzle in record time. The battle for the third gym badge begins and it's Voltorb vs Krabby to start. And we both miss the first turn, Voltorb missing a Sonic Boom and Krabby missing a Mudshot. The turn after, Voltorb connects a very strong Shockwave, leaving Krabby at 7 HP, that retaliates with a Mudshot getting a KO. Pikachu comes in and I click Mudshot again, outspilling the Yellow Rat and getting another KO. Next is the Menace Raichu, and I can't afford anyone on my team to take a Shockwave on the switch, so for the sake of continuing the challenge I click Mudshot, but Krabby gets defeated by a Quick Attack. I don't get much time to mourn, because this battle can still draw more blood, so I switch to my trusted starter, War Turtle, and go for an Ice Beam, while Raichu clicks Double Team, turning this battle even more dangerous. Ice Beam connects, luckily for a third, and War Turtle takes a good chunk for Shockwave, leaving Baby Girl at 40% HP, but my trust is unwavering as War Turtle connects another Ice Beam through the Double Team and crits Raichu for the win. Krabby was used for a very short time, but without him and its sacrifice, I don't think I'd be able to pull off this win, so 3 badges down. The next part is just walking, so I'll quickly run you through it. After the third gym, I need to make my way onto round 9, where I can enter the Rock Tunnel, which connects with Lavender Town, where I completely forget the rival battle at the Pokémon Tower. I honestly just need to write that battle down on a post-it just so I can remember. But my gaze was fixated on Celadon City, where I can find the 4th gym and most importantly get a new encounter. This one being a gift Eevee that I evolve into a Vaporeon using a Water Stone. Now, I should technically deal with Team Rocket at the game corner, but my Pokémon are getting a little too close to the next gym leader's ace level, so I decide to just head into it. The next challenge is Erika, the grass type expert, and yet another hard foe for me to face, but I have no other choice, so I head into battle. She leads with a Victory Bell and I lead War Turtle, outspeeding it and hitting an Ice Beam that leaves it in the red and freezes it, giving me an easy first KO with 2 more Ice, because Erika used an Hyper Potion. My girl is proving to be quite the Ice Queen, not gonna lie. Next up is Tangela, that just drops to a single Ice Beam. And finally the menace Vileplume comes in. I don't want any of my team members to take a grass move on the switch, so I just stay in and go for an Ice Beam, dealing around 70% damage and getting paralyzed with a Stun Spore. Next turn I take a Giga Drain for a big chunk that heals Vileplume up enough for her to survive another Ice Beam, with what appears to be 1 HP. So I'm forced to switch, since with a paralyzed speed drop War Turtle gets outsped and defeated by another Giga Drain, so I get Vaporeon in, which can take a Giga Drain for 35%, and the next turn drop Vileplume's accuracy with a Sand Attack, getting paralyzed by Stun Spore in return. This means I can fire a single quick attack for some cheap damage before taking another Giga Drain that leaves Vaporeon at 30 HP remain. Next comes a tough decision, because on one hand I just got Vaporeon on my team and I wanted to try it a little bit more. On the other hand, I can't force a switch since none of my Pokémon can comfortably take a Giga Drain, so once again, with continuing the Nuzlocke in mind, I stay in and go for another Sand Attack before perishing, which doesn't happen because Vileplume missed the Giga Drain. I try to capitalize on this opportunity and go for a quick attack, but Vaporeon gets fully paralyzed and eventually falls to a Giga Drain. This challenge is turning into a bloodbath, with 3 deaths in the counter already. I turn to the Pokémon that has clutched me out so much already, Golden, to work its magic and get me the bait, so it comes in and connects a Supersonic, which Vileplume can go over and fail a Stun Spore. Next, Erika uses a full heal, which I was actually not expecting to cure Vileplume's confusion, and Goldeen connects a pack for a good chunk of damage, which opens the path for Goldeen to get another pack in, getting a crit and a victory over this match. And this Goldeen man is slowly climbing the waterfall into my heart, not gonna lie, it's been clutch in 3 gyms so far, getting me a safer win, it's amazing. Now, I'm a little over leveled, but I need to take care of the Team Rocket at the game corner, which isn't a hard battle at all, because Horsey defeats Onix and Ryan and War Turtle slugs it out against Kangaskhan with a few Ice Beams, so Giovanni goes on. On my way onto the Pokémon Tower to finish off this section, I get another evolution, with Horsey's evolving into a Seadra, one of my personal favorite water types from Generation 1, and the Clutch Master Goldeen evolves into a Seaking to round out the team. At the Pokémon Tower, I get the before mentioned rival battle that War Turtle dominates. I mean, if she can defeat him at the same level, being over level just turns the job easier. At the top of the Pokémon Tower, rescue Mr. Fuji from Team Rocket and get awarded with a Pokéflute that I can use to wake up the sleeping Snorlax and get my hand on a Super Rod. With this new fishing rod, I can fly back to Palantown and fish a Shelder that gets added to the team, and at Route 10 I can snag up Psyduck. With the encounters resolved, I need to make my way onto Fuchsia City, making a pit stop at Celadon to grab a Water Stone and evolve my Shelder into a Cloyster. At the Cycling Road, War Turtle takes her final form, turning into a Blastoise. After arriving at Fuchsia City, I can go into the Safari Zone to collect the Golden Teeth that I can exchange for the HM for Strength and the HM for Surf, a great move for my team and a real power booster for everyone. Now I just need to get some levels, getting Seadra into a Kingdra in the process so I can challenge the gym. And I'm gonna need to intervene again to tell you guys that I'm sorry. When Seadra evolved into a Kingdra, I didn't really bat an eye at it, because I was very tired, and I mean Seadra evolves into Kingdra, right? I mean, yeah, if you give it a Dragon Scale and trade it. That didn't hit me until much later, so what happened? I have 2 copies of every Pokemon game. I have one for YouTube, which is unaltered, and I have one that is altered for my relaxing runs. One of the modifications I made is to turn trade evolutions into level up evolutions, and I mistakenly using the altered copy. I mean, it doesn't affect anything else, but it does mean that this Kingdra is illegal, since in the remakes you only get a dragon scale in the post-game. With all of that being said, I'll continue to use it during the run because I only realized this while writing this script, meaning the run is already over and I don't have the time to rerun it, so let's just say I transferred in a dragon scale to evolve it, okay? Once again, sorry for my mistake, I'll get better, believe me. And now I need to face Koga, the 5th gym leader that specializes in poison types. And I'll be blunt with you all, I don't have a strategy to face this guy. The only super effective move I could get against all of his team is Psychic. My possible encounters remaining, only Lapras can learn it. But for that, I need to go into Saffron City and defeat Team Rocket, and I don't like to go too far ahead in the story without having a very good reason. But even without a good psychic move, I believe I can make this work, so I head into battle anyway. The leading duo is my Cloyster versus Koga's Coughing, and one fast surf takes the ball of pollution down. Muk comes in next, and I keep spamming Surf, dealing around 45% damage before Muk goes for a useless acid armor that increases its defense. The next Surf leaves Muk in the red, allowing him to go for a minimize, which is very annoying. And even worse, Koga uses an Hyper Potion in the turn Cloyster missed a Supersonic. But my stubbornness kicks in, and I click Supersonic again, surprisingly connecting, but Muk goes through confusion and gets up another minimize, which is not good. What proceeds is a fuckfest of me spamming Surf just hoping for a hit, and Muk continuously damaging down my Cloyster with sludge bombs, getting it poisoned at one point, but Cloyster ultimately goes victorious with 40% HP remaining and poison. Koga's second Coughing is next, and I know this one likes to go for self-destruct, so I attempt to predict and click Protect, which pays out since Coughing deleted himself from the battlefield with a self-destruct. My final opponent is Wheezing, Koga's ace, and I got another brain rot moment because I believed for some reason that the Protect penalty went away after the opponent is defeated, as I click Protect again to scout out potential self-destructs, and Cloyster fails and falls to a sludge. This is the 3rd gym in a row that I lose a fresh team member, Jesus effing Christ. With Cloyster fainted, I get Kingdra in and defeat Wheezing with 2 Surfs, only taking a smokescreen in return, and I know, I should have swapped Cloyster out, but now I have to live with another fallen team member after getting my 5th badge. Now I make my way onto Saffron City, the location of the next gym challenge, but first I need to take care of some new encounters, because the team needs some help. And I know just where to get it. If I go to Pallet Town and surf south, I can reach Cinnabar Island, which will be important later on, but for now, all I'll do here is revive the Dome fossil that I got in Mount Moon, to receive a Kabuto, my favorite fossil from this generation. That evolves into my favorite rock type, Kabuto. Soon after, I can collect the coin case at Celadon City and spend all my savings to get a Thunderbolt and Ice Beam TM at the game corner. I teach Kingdra Ice Beam, saving Thunderbolt for another Pokémon. With a new team member and some new moves, I need to take care of Team Rocket again, because now they have invaded the Sylph Company to steal the plans for the Master Ball. So I go hero mode in there to defeat them. Along the way, I have another rival battle, and this is the only thing blocking me from my next team member, so I head into it. Battle starts, and it's the now evolved Pidgeot versus Blastoise. And obviously, I click Ice Beam, getting a crit and knocking out the bird. Next is Venusaur, and I go for Ice Beam, again not getting the crit this time, but freezing Venusaur instead, giving me another easy and safe KO, and honestly, my Blastoise must have a needed Serene Grace ability, because this Ice Queen is just freezing left and right. This is incredible. Gyarados takes the field, and I keep riding this high and click Ice Beam that doesn't deal as much damage as I was expecting, and Blastoise takes a Dragon Rage in return for 40 HP. I use another Ice Beam, and it looks like I'll need 4 Ice Beams to defeat this menace, as it connects another Dragon Rage, leaving Blastoise with 44 HP remaining. Now, because Dragon Rage always deals exactly 40 HP, I know Blastoise can take another one and outspeed. Next turn for the KO, I just click Ice Beam again, this time getting a crit, sending Gyarados to an early grave. Growlithe is next, and a single Surf drowns the puppy. Alakazam comes in next, and to get some information I go for a Protect to scout out what he's trying to do. But I get punished for this as Alakazam goes for a Calm Mind, getting a +1 in special attack and special defense. This reduces the damage of my following bites, since Dark is special in Generation 1, 2 and 3. And Alakazam goes for a Future Sight. I know Future Sight is a joke in this generation, but I still don't want to take a Psychic move, so I swap for Seeking. That comes in another Future Sight for some reason, and next turn Seeking can KO Alakazam because it outsped only to use another Future Sight. And I mean, the AI just threw the battle, but I'll take the win, I don't care. After the battle, this guy gives me a Lapras, a very good encounter to obtain, and next I face Giovanni. That was extremely easy, as Kingdra takes care of Nidorino and Nidoqueen with Surf, and Kabutops deals with a Kangaskhan and Ryan easily without taking any damage. With the most useless item acquired, the Master Ball, all I have to do in Saffron City is challenge the 6th gym leader, Sabrina, that uses Psychic types. Although Psychic types are very powerful in this early gens, Sabrina's team has one gigantic weakness in the defense department. This is something that Kabutops can take advantage of, being my best physical attacker, so she leads into battle against Sabrina's Kadabra. And after Kadabra sets up a Reflect, I can use Slash, it still did around 70% damage, and on the turn Kadabra goes for a Future Sight, I can break the Reflect with a Brick Break and take Kadabra down in the process. Mr. Mime is next, and it takes a Slash for 80% damage, setting up with a Calm Mind afterwards that means nothing as another Slash defeats it. Venomoth comes in, on the turn the Future Sight deal damage, dealing around 20% to my Fossil. And the next turn Kabutops takes a weak Psybeam, leaving it at 50%, and I click Mudshot hoping for a speed drop that I don't get. However, because of the speed tie, Kabutops can go first in the next turn, hitting a Slash that leaves Venomoth in the red and retaliates with another Psybeam that leaves Kabutops with 30% HP remaining. This means that Sabrina heals Venomoth the next turn and Kabutops can take it down with 2 slashes, winning the speed tie on the killing turn. Alakazam, Sabrina's ace comes in, and I don't want to take a Psychic move from that special attack, so I swap Seeking in to clutch this out. And clutch it did, because on the switch Alakazam goes for another Future Sight, allowing Seeking safe entry, which means it can fire an Horn attack next turn and connect for 60% damage, after Alakazam uses a Calm Mind. Meaning that after Seeking survives a Psychic with 27 HP to spare, it can connect another Horn attack for the KO. I am in love with this Seeking. She is turning into a clutch queen and getting me out of a lot of sweet sticky situations, in this case giving me the 6th gym badge. The next part of my journey is pretty straightforward, because all I need to do is go to Cinnabar Island to explore the Pokémon Mansion until I find the secret key, which I can use to open the door to the next gym where Blaine is located, the Fire type expert. And yeah, Water beats Fire. So it should come at no surprise to know that Kingdra just surfed over every trainer until I reached Blaine, that got the same treatment with only Arcanine surviving one surf, but after some heals it goes down too, giving me an easy 7th patch. After this gym, I get reminded that this isn't Pokémon Red, as Bill shows up to take me into a filler episode at the Savvy Islands. And trust me, I'll go deeper into the Savvy Islands on another challenge, but this one I'll just quickly go through it. After arriving at one island, I meet this guy that tells me to deliver the meteorite to some guy. So I go to 2 Island to meet that guy to find out that his daughter is missing in 3 Island, and until she gets her back I can complete my quest. So I go to 3 Island and take care of some gang related stuff so I can make my way into the berry forest where the little girl is, finding out she was kidnapped by an Hypno that attacks me, so after defeating it I can return the little girl home, deliver the meteorite, go back to Bill and be on my merry way to the Kanto region again, where I can go to Viridian City for the last gym battle against Giovanni, the Team Rocket leader and ground type specialist, and just like the last gym, Kingdra can just spam surf to get the 8th badge, since water beats ground every day. With all 8 badges I can make my way onto Victory Road, but my rival stops me in my tracks for another battle. He leads Pidgeot versus my Blastoise, and after an Ice Beam leaves the bird in the red, Blastoise takes a very weak crit wing attack. Next turn I go for a Surf, expecting my rival to heal up, but it doesn't and Pidgeot just roams. In comes Venusaur and after taking an Ice Beam for 50% goes for a Growth, increasing its attack and special attack by one stage. Another Ice Beam leaves Venusaur with a Slither, allowing it to go for a Synthesis, basically resetting the turn. This repeats for 4 turns, as Synthesis is healing a little bit more than Ice Beam is damaging it, but eventually Venusaur uses another Growth, giving my Ice Queen the opening to finish Venusaur off with a final Ice Beam. Rhyhorn is next and a single Surf defeats the Rock Rhino. Gyarados takes the field and after taking a weak Ice Beam it uses Rain Dance, and since I got nothing to lose, I just click another Ice Beam that leaves Gyarados at 30% HP remaining and freezing it, giving me another safe KO with Blastoise's final Ice Beam and a Surf. Growlithe is next and as sad as it is, I need to drown the puppy again with a Surf, opening the way for Alakazam to come in, and I go for an Earthquake, forgetting that my Blastoise is at -2 attack from the Intimidates, resulting in very little damage dealt, which goes unpunished as Alakazam just misses a disable, which repeats for 2 more turns with Alakazam missing and Blastoise connecting with 2 Surfs for the KO. My rival's Alakazam needs to lock in because his performances have been terrible so far. But I'll take the win for sure. The final stretch is here. All there is between me and my final challenge is the Victory Road that connects to the Indigo Plateau location of the Pokémon League. After some preparation, I decided on the final team of my serious Lapras with Psychic, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam and Surf, making her a very versatile and bulky team member. Kingdra with Surf, Ice Beam, Double Team and Smokescreen, and honestly Kingdra's moveset just sucks Generation 3. I had very little to work with on her, so I just decided on an Evasion set with Surf and Ice Beam for damage. My Kingdra is naughty, which might explain why she isn't doing as much as I was expecting from her. Still, its stats are decent. The Clutch Queen Seeking, which wasn't supposed to be on the final team, but after all the work she has done, there was no way I could leave it out. There was no way I could leave it out of the Elite Four. Now she rides with me until the very end. Seeking is rocking a Horn Attack, Peck, Supersonic and Waterfall. Terrible moves, I know, but it's what I got to work with, and this Clutch Queen has a lax nature. Blastoise, my timid 3 times champion, Ice Queen with Rain Dance, Surf, Earthquake and Ice Beam, and we already know this babe right here can carry her own weight and so much more. This isn't her first rodeo. As per my continuation lock rules, I can have 2 spare mons in the team in case someone falls in battle, and I got my previously used Kabutops and my last Pokemon in the box, Psyduck, that evolves into a Golduck in the preparations. With everything said and done, I can challenge the Elite Four with my first opponent being Lorelei, the Ice Expert. She leads with a Dewgong and I lead Lapras, immediately going for a Thunderbolt that takes half of Dewgong's HP as it sets up a nail. Next, Dewgong attempts a Surf, but Lapras has Water Absorb, so she is immune to water moves, meaning she can fire another Thunderbolt that Dewgong survives by a thread. This prompts Lorelei to use a full restore, and my Lapras goes for a Psychic for some cheap damage. This means Dewgong goes for a Safeguard, and I can easily fire more Thunderbolts, bringing it down after 2 and taking a very weak crit Ice Beam in return. Cloyster is next, and given that this clan has paper thin special defense, it gets defeated with one Thunderbolt. Bringing in Slowpoke that falls to 2 Thunderbolts, only using an Amnesia. Jinx comes in, and before my Lapras can use a Surf, she gets put to sleep by a Sweet Kiss. And after sleeping for 4 turns, taking some very weak Ice Punches in return, Lapras finally wakes up and connects with a Surf for a third of damage. Then Lorelei actually outplays me as she switches for Lapras with Water Absorb to soak the incoming Surf. So I swap back into Thunderbolt that never gets fired because Lorelei's Lapras connects with a Confuse Ray and my Lapras hurts herself in the confusion. Now I need to shake this confusion off, so I swap to Blastoise, but soon realize there isn't much she can do since Earthquake is doing very little damage, but in return so is Lapras Body Slam, so I keep firing them, eventually misclicking and going for a Rain Dance. My bad, by the way, that was a misclick. which obviously was on the turn that Body Slam paralyzes. After a few back and forth, I decide to swap into Seeking, since my Ice Queen is at 48 HP remaining and paralyzed, and Seeking can actually take advantage of the misclicked Rain with its Swift Swim ability. The Clutch Queen comes in on a Body Slam that deals around 25% damage, and next turn I can prove why she is the Clutch Queen, as she connects with a Supersonic, confusing Lapras, making her hurt herself in the same turn. The turn after, Seeking connects with an Horde attack for some cheap damage, and Lapras goes through confusion to resend the gift with a Confuse Ray, and it's an L Citrus Berry to rub some salt on the wound. Both combatants are now confused at this point, and Seeking goes through confusion to connect another Horn attack, as Lapras snaps out and connects a Body Slam, paralyzing my fish. Still determined to change the tides of battle, I click Supersonic hoping for a hit, but Seeking hurts herself in confusion after taking another Body Slam and is left at 10 HP. But her job is done, and with Lorelei's Lapras so weak, I can switch my own Lapras in to take the Ice Beam and defeat Lorelei with a Thunderbolt after surviving a Body Slam. With the first member defeated, I move on to Bruno, the fighting expert, as my next challenge. While in Pokémon Red, Blue and Yellow, Bruno is a joke, in the remakes his team got a good moveset upgrade, which might translate with a slightly harder battle with my team, but let's see. It's Onix vs Kingdra to start, and this snaky boy isn't a problem because one surf drowns it. Hitmonchan is next, and after being reminded that Smokescreen doesn't work on Pokémon with Keen Eye, Kingdra takes a crit, although weak, Rock Tomb. Next turn I set up a double team, taking a Sky Uppercut in return, with Kingdra remaining at 45% HP. Now I need to go on the offense using Surf for 45% damage, but the strategy doesn't work as Hitmonchan connects another Sky Uppercut, putting my Majestic Seahorse in the red. So I swap into Blastoise on the incoming Mach Punch and set up a Rain Dance to power up my team's Water move, taking a Rock Tomb in response, lowering my speed but dealing very low damage. With the boost I can defeat Hitmonchan with a Surf after taking another Sky Uppercut, bringing Hitmonlee in that also gets drowned but manages to connect a Mega Kick before fainting, leaving my starter at 18 HP remaining. Bruno's ace is next, a Machamp, and I need to swap Blastoise into Seeking to keep the Ice Queen safe, and Seeking takes a crit Rock Tomb on the switch that leaves her at 60% and drops her speed. But with the rain still up, Swift Swim guarantees the outspeed anyways, and Seeking comes through to connect a Supersonic, leading to Machamp hurting himself as the rain stops. The next time Machamp hurts himself in confusion again, and Seeking lands a waterfall that without the rain doesn't do enough damage, with Machamp healing back up with a Health Citrus Berry. But Machamp hurts himself in confusion once again, allowing Seeking to connect another waterfall, leaving Machamp in the red, prompting Bruno to use a full restore, turning all of this hard work into nothing and cleansing the confusion. Seeking managed to connect 2 more waterfalls, leaving Machamp at half HP, but takes a big cross chop that puts my Clutch Queen at 3 HP remaining. In a failed attempt to save her, I swap Lapras in, hoping Bruno wouldn't go for a cross chop, but that is exactly what it does, putting my transportation vehicle in the red as it switches in. However, by learning from Seeking, Lapras can clutch it out with the outspeed and a crit sub for the KO in the next turn. This sends Bruno last Pokemon in, an Onix, and although this snake gets a lot of trash for being a terrible Pokemon, my team is super weak and Onix can be very speedy, since I don't know if Lapras can outspeed. I decide not to risk it and make a sacrifice of bringing Seeking in to take the Earthquake and go down. This is a very painful decision after everything Seeking has done for this team, but in the long run I decided to keep Lapras alive was a better investment. This means that Blastoise, my fastest Pokemon, can come in and defeat Onix and Bruno with a Surf. I was really hoping to bring Seeking with me on the next adventures, but the gods of Nuzlocke had other plans, so rest in peace, my Clutch Queen. Now with a heavy heart, I bring Kabutops back into the team, swapping for Seeking, and now I need to face Agatha, the third member of the Elite Four, a supposed ghost type specialist, but in reality she uses poison types. Battle starts and it's Blastoise vs Gengar, and I immediately set up the rain to boost my water type moves, as Gengar goes for a double team. Next, Blastoise misses a Surf and Gengar gets another double team up. Finally, Blastoise connects, being just shy of the KO, and Gengar gets yet another double team up. This is getting annoying and dangerous. With Gengar in the red, Agatha heals up, but Blastoise gets fed up with this shit and connects 2 Surfs for the KO. Good riddance. Golbat is next, and after surviving a nice beam in the red, it connects a Confuse Ray, forcing me to switch into Kingdra to get rid of the confusion, taking a weak Air Cutter on entering, and setting up a double team on the next turn. Which didn't help much as Golbat connects a Confuse Ray, but I believe in this seahorse and she delivers going through confusion and taking Golbat out with an Ice Beam. Arbok takes the field and King the hurts herself in confusion twice in a row, taking 2 screeches. That leaves her at -4 defense, forcing me to switch since a physical move now can really do some damage. Bringing Blastoise in on a Sludge Bomb that deals around 25% and firing a Surf next turn for 55%, this repeats the following turn with Arbok going down and Blastoise standing at 50% HP remaining. Agatha Ace is next, a second Gengar, and after connecting a Sludge Bomb, leaving my Blastoise at 32 HP, it falls to a turret boosted crit Surf. Agatha's last Pokémon is a Haunter, and since Blastoise can outspeed Gengar, it can definitely outspeed a Haunter and connect another torrent boosted Surf for the KO and the win. There is only one member of the Elite Four left, and it is the guy that claims to be a Dragon expert, but in reality he uses a Flying type team. We head into battle and it's Lapras against Gyarados, which goes down after one Thunderbolt only hitting a Dragon Rage for 40 HP. Aerodactyl is next, and after taking a powerful Ancient Power, Lapras can connect with a big Surf that Aerodactyl barely survives. Now I know Lance will heal, so I take the opportunity swap into Blastoise for free as Lance uses a full restore, and I fire a Surf that Aerodactyl survives again with 1 HP after taking a very weak wing attack. Now I have to take 3 damage from a Hyper Beam before defeating Aerodactyl with another Surf, and my starter stands at 50% HP remaining. Next it's Dragonair and it falls to a single Ice Beam. In comes the second Dragonair that actually survives the Ice Beam with a Slither, but only goes for a safe one as Lance heals, but a combination of Ice Beam and Surf bring it down. Last for Lance is Dragonite, his ace, and it also survives an Ice Beam, going for a powerful Hyper Beam in return that Blastoise luckily survives on 2 HP, giving me the victory with another Ice Beam. Even after Dragonite it's a Citrus Berry. That was a brutal battle, but at last I can go into my final challenge to have another battle against my rival that has become the League champion before me. The final battle starts and it's Pidgeot vs Kingdra. As I set up with a double team, Pidgeot uses a short hit Aerial Ace to do some minor damage, but next a combination of Ice Beam and Surf bring the bird down, after it misses a Sand attack. This brings Gyarados in and I fire an Ice Beam for some cheap damage as Gyarados misses a Dragon Rage. Another Ice Beam leaves Gyarados at 50% HP remaining, and this time he connects Dragon Rage for 40 damage. Now I switch into Lapras, taking a crit Thrash in return that deals around 50%. Luckily the second one doesn't crit and Gyarados goes down to a Thunderbolt. Raiden is next and he just falls to a Surf, meaning that Venusaur can come in, and I really don't want my team to take a grass move, so I stay in and fire an Ice Beam. Venusaur is faster and starts charging up a Solar Beam, which means trouble, and Ice Beam leaves Venusaur at 20% HP remaining, but it eats a Citrus Berry to regain some health. Now I need to face the reality of the situation, because no one in my team can safely take a Solar Beam, it's too risky to do it, and that means Lapras needs to take the fall. This girl was amazing during the Elite Four, but she needs to make the ultimate sacrifice so I can get Blastoise in for free and finish Venusaur with an Ice Beam. Alakazam is next and I go for a Rain Dance to boost my damage, as Alakazam fires up Psychic that doesn't deal that much damage, to be fair. Next, it goes for a useless Reflect as Blastoise fires a rain boosted Surf, leaving the fake Anubis on a Slither, And now I know my rival will heal, so I just go for an Earthquake to guarantee the KO next turn with Surf, as Alakazam goes for a Future Sight, winning the speed tie. My rival's final Pokémon is Arcanine, that goes down to a Surf, dealing very low damage with extreme speed, giving me the win and the completion of my Part 4 Mono Water type continuation Nuzlocke challenge. This run was a bloodbath with 6 deaths, marking this the run with the most deaths on the channel, so far at least. Let's focus on the positive side, as I get 2 new Pokémon to join my champions and my starter collects her 4th consecutive win, and in return, as a reward, she will get 31 IVs into HP to join the other rewards she possesses. As for the new entries, we have Kingtra, that will retain the move Ice Beam as she joins the roster of champions, and Kabutops that admittedly didn't do anything in Elite 4, swapping out for my Clutching Queen as she took the fall for us to get here. I hope Kabutops can inherit her spirit as it retains the Brick Break TM to use in the future. With that, my revisit to Kanto is complete and I can reclaim my title and now can proceed on to the next challenge. The champions get de-evolved, and because Kingdra didn't evolve the correct way, she will not be carrying a Dragon Scale onto the next game, meaning if I want a Kingdra I have to find a legit one. Anyway, Squirtle, Horsey and Kabuto go back into the champion roster as I prepare to face Pokémon Diamond in the next part. Before I finish off this video, I want to thank you all for 50 subscribers. I know for the majority of people this number doesn't mean much, but for me it means the world. I really have a lot of fun making these runs and sharing them with you on YouTube, and I will keep on doing it, so thank you all so much for 50 subscribers. With that said and done, thank you all so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Remember to comment and subscribe for more. Please never stop being yourselves, and peace.